Hello, welcome back to Phil Rider's Diaries. We've got a glorious day today, so we're going to make the most of it. And we can do a number of videos at once. So, in the previous one, we went up the Kirkstone Pass. We took the Glenridding road up to the Kirkstone Pass, stopped there for a short time. And this basically is the other side of it. So, we're going to go down to Windermere. And Windermere is probably the most famous all the destinations in the Lake District. It's not particularly my favourite. I find it a little too busy, a little too touristy. I don't think it's particularly attractive for that, but you know, it's a victim of its own success, I expect. It's also famous for Beatrix Potter. Beatrix Potter, who used to live used to live on Lake Windermere. And there's a museum down there, and for some reason it's immensely popular with the Japanese tourists. Honestly, if you went to the museum, you could only buy the Beatrix Potter books in English or Japanese. So, and they're very welcome to them. And what do we have here? A caravanette. A caravanette, or a caravan, the absolute nemesis of pretty much every biker I know. But we'll give him his respect, and if we find an opportunity, we'll get past. Well, I said in my first vlog, I'm not naturally from Cumbria. I'm from East London, Essex, and so I don't have that local knowledge of each and every one of these bends that allows me to manipulate the traffic as I'd like. And of course, sheep. You never know when they're going to walk out onto the road. And especially it's springy, it's spring lambs now. Spring lambs are bouncing about and it's all very nice and cute, but they don't know what a 2.5 ton caravanette's going to do to them. And it's all rather sad. You see them on the side of the road. But you know, lamb very often is on a special up here, so you know, every cloud and all that. Pheasants are another one. Pheasants will do a lot of damage to a motorcycle, hit at a fairly reasonable speed. Not to mention scare the willies out of the rider. Do I want to? No. Don't have to, so you won't. Unfortunately, I don't know about unfortunately or not, I do tend to overthink things, especially overtakes. Why is he going so slow? What's beyond that corner? Is there a junction? Is there a driveway? Is there something coming the other way? Is the road wet? And so on. It's not a bad thing to err on the side of caution, but there is a line between the two. And you try not to follow too closely. There's something called the triangle of death, which basically is you look at the van, if you look at his right hand rear tail light to where my hand is here, that kind of triangle in front of us, we want to avoid that. and then I could have overtaken. Oh, he's a good man. There you go. Thank you. Blind brow, there we are. So we've got another biker behind us. Going to a 30, I'll be sticking to 30. He can do what he wants. And it's kind of unfortunate because as we leave that small hamlet, it stays 30 miles an hour, you can see on the sign. When really these roads right now are no more treacherous than the Hartside Pass, and that was 60. So, you know, go figure. We stick to 30 or thereabouts. This is what I was saying last time about appropriate speed. Today it's clear, it's dry, it's not exactly warm, but there's not many things to hit. There's no pavements, there's no cars, there's no houses, there's not many pedestrians, and you've got a fairly clear view ahead of what's going on. A couple of driveways to my left, but nobody's coming out of them or into them. And as I said in the last one, you pick your position on the road that gives you the most view. So for the right hand bend, I'm as far over to the left as I want to be, and for the left hand bend, I'm as close to the centre line. Over the Humpback Bridge into a 40-mile-an-hour limit, car ahead. Cycling coming towards me. Wind it open, there we go, and that's it, 40, that's all you get. So I'm closing up on the car in front, and now I've got to make a decision. Do I want to go past him, or do I sit behind? Now he's doing 30 miles an hour. Could get past him, I suppose. It'd only be a little illegal. What do we have? That will do. There's this road going. There we are. Little nod. One of the things I enjoy about the motorcycling is the camaraderie that you get. Now you go back to the 60s and the 70s, and basically it was one big gang, and possibly because everybody had the same sort of bike. Nowadays it's a little bit more segregated. You've got adventure bike riders, you've got cruiser bike riders, sports bike riders, sports tourers like myself. And I'm not saying that's fragmented the biking fraternity, but certainly the fat balding 40-something on his cruiser isn't going to have an awful lot in common with a 20-something skinny lad on his R6. Sorry to use stereotypes, but that's, you know, pretty much the way it works. And it's a bit of a shame because when you strip away all the biking gear, we're all just bikers. And that camaraderie is a rare thing. You don't get it in the car world. Not in the regular car world. You do get it in the classic car world. I was actually a car driver before a bike rider, and I still feel more comfortable in a car than I do on a bike. And I started in the classic car world, and we'll use the term classic in its broadest possible sense. But needless to say, there was a fraternity there that is fun to be part of, if a little bit Anorak and Bobble Hat Brigade. Pushing lane and throttle. If you just pushed and leaned but didn't use any throttle, you'd just fall over. And drive your way through the bend. So this is the end of the 592. We're approaching the 591 going across us, but we're going to go straight ahead and end up in Windermere. Not a good junction, this. But here we go. After the red Vauxhall, that'll do us. Now you may have noticed at that junction we've gone into a 49-hour limit. And it's not an easy speed limit to notice because you've got to look out for so many other things. Naturally, being a roundabout, you've got to give that to your attention as well. You've also got road signs, how many miles it is to the next town, and so on and so forth. And it's not always easy to see that 49-hour limit, but it was certainly there. So here we go, into Windermere. Like I said, it's probably the most famous of all the lakes. It's also the biggest. And it's a little curiosity you might notice up here in the Lake District, is that there's not many lakes that are actually called lakes. You've got Bassenthwaite Lake, that's the only one. They're always called mere, like Grassmere or Thirlmere or Windermere. Or they're simply called waters, like Ullswater or Derwent Water or Hawes Water. If you get a lake up in a mountain, or a smaller lake, it's often referred to as a tarn. Red Tarn, Drysdale Tarn, so on and so forth. And all these words apparently are Nordic or Scandinavian. I don't know if there's a difference, I'm sure someone can tell me. And it's from when we had the Nordic invasions over here, and some of the words stuck around. Thwaite is another one. Thwaite basically means a clearing. So you have Thornthwaite or Bassenthwaite or Braithwaite, then these are places built around clearings. So there you go. Beautiful scenery and information. What more can you want? It's a Monday today, so it's not likely to happen. It doesn't happen so often. But we do get the RAF doing low altitude training over here sometimes. So if I suddenly stop talking mid-conversation and my head darts up like a meerkat, then that'll be the reason why. Bowness Bay and the lake. That's where we're heading for. So you've got Windermere, which is the actual town. That's about 1.5 miles behind us. And then you've got what's familiarly known as Windermere on Bowness. And that's what we're going to at the moment. And as you can see, it's already busier. Busier than I like anyway. And the pedestrians don't seem to mind where they cross. It's like they've taken on board the whole LA pedestrian right-of-way law. Whereas in America, if you step out, or in LA anyway, in front of a car, the car has to stop for you. Not so here, although you try telling these people that. So there we are. Windermere. And this is going to have a similar setup to what we just left behind in Water. It's going to have a steamer station here. It's going to have drop-off points and stop points all over the lake. Hello, sunshine. Miserable bugger. So we're just going to pull it into here. And I reckon that'll be enough. There you go, Windermere. So as I seem to be working out a loop at the moment, we'll be taking up the 591 next time, and that will take us up to Ambleside and possibly on to Grasmere or Vidal Water. That'd be quite a nice thing to do. And again, if the weather stays like this, oh, goose crossing. Control, come on Elf. There we go. Slow speed stuff's supposed to be the stuff you're good at. So I think that'll be that. Take care everyone, and I'll speak to you all soon.